Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vase. I decided to make my life easy today because I was, well, me being busy is an understatement, but I reverted back my YouTube to the original, like the old version, because the new one is ridiculous. Several other YouTubers hit me up and saying the same thing. They hate the new version of internal YouTube buttons and screens, and I couldn't figure out how to stream the way I normally stream with that. So we're back to having it function properly. Okay, let me close the audio on this bad boy. I'm gonna try not to have any screen malfunctions today, and let's get to it. I sent the link out to my friends Tyler and Van Zandt, but I didn't prepare them. So it's kind of like, hey, I'm going live. If you guys want to jump on the stream, you can jump on the stream. So let's see if anyone joins. I'll try to keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, let's go to screen share. We have the list of workshops. I'm off to Cairo on Monday. I really should figure out where the hell I'm going and what I'm going to do. Kind of want to see the pyramids, kind of want to check out the Nile. If you are a fan of Tone Vase and you are in Cairo, find a way to reach out to me, because right now it looks like a solo trip down the Nile. Like it's, I don't know anyone in Cairo. Good way to get kidnapped, also kind of boring. So let's see what happens. So hit me up. Malta, I certainly won't be short of friends. And then Philadelphia, Mexico City, New York, Rome, Amsterdam, and Berlin. San Fran and LA might be on the calendar this summer. Need another week or so to figure it out. Now, I am in Mallorca, Spain. Why am I in Mallorca, Spain? I'm in Mallorca, Spain to speak at an event called Blockchain Days. Mallorca is a pretty cool city. The problem is it's freezing as hell. I'm in my apartment in the sweatshirt. I got 2 heaters running. Like it feels like it might snow later. Like it's insane. Totally unexpected. And I do need to, go out and eat eventually. So I'm gonna try to keep this video shorter. A couple of friends are coming in today. A few more coming in tomorrow. So if you are in Mallorca or can still get a last-minute ticket, please come down. All right. My own conference. Damn, Malta. Too many announcements. It's always too many announcements. Malta, come out to Malta, guys. It'll be great. So we're updating the pictures still. We'll get there. Still got tickets. I mean, we're keeping the price at 0.1 Bitcoin. We want to get, a reasonable amount of attendance. Please come to Malta. It'll be a lot of fun. The agenda should be out soon. We're finalizing it now. We got a call with Giacomo later tonight and Adam back, and we're going to figure it all out. Okay, enough announcements. If you want to support, go to affiliates. If you want to know where I'm traveling to, go to calendar. And if you want to buy some t-shirts, go to the store. Okay. Not going to spend too much time on the long-term view of Bitcoin. Let's hold off on that until the weekend, or until, maybe on Sunday or something, Sunday or Monday. Monday, I fly to Cairo, so we'll see how that one goes. So this chart's been, like making the rounds on other people's YouTube channels and in Twitter. Let's see if we get that bull trap at 5,000. I am very interested in what happens at 5,000. Here is the current slow and steady grind. We are almost back at this spike level that took place a few weeks ago. And this is a really cool apartment, by the way. I'm not going to stop screen share, but really cool little apartment in Mallorca. I have a rooftop I can use too, but it's too freaking cold. Maybe tomorrow will be better. So it's slow and steady. We're approaching this green line. Very curious. Usually, right, there's a little bit of an issue here, right? Like normally I would say, hey, we're going to break this line and we're going to bust out to the upside, maybe go up $500 in a single day. But we're pushing the time limitations of a 9. So the perfect scenario, which if we're lucky we will get, you get this big $500 push to 4,800 sometime next week. And that will be your 8-9 candles, followed by a pullback, followed by one more push to maybe as high as 6,000, maybe 5,500, we will see. But for now, the weekly chart has been bullish ever since, I'll tell you when. The weekly chart has been bullish since $3,665, the week of February 18th. So the weekly chart's been bullish for over a month. And in that month, since the moment it turned bullish, it has gone up. So like I said, 36.64, 36.65, let's say, up to, it's gone up about just under 400, like 380 bucks. Not bad, not great, not bad. Daily chart. Daily chart is, I mean, we've broken a very critical 128-day moving average. Maybe it's not critical anymore, but for now, I'm assuming that it is. You have two other resistance points. You have 42.85 setup trend, and you have 4,700, the 200-day moving average. I have no reason to believe that we can't get, I mean, I find that I'm a little less optimistic that we can break the 200-day moving average. I am significantly more optimistic that we can break the setup trend line and make it to the 200-day moving average. Now, keep in mind, the daily chart is on a 7 of 9. So in 2 days, expect a 1 to 4 candle correction, followed by probably more upside. But let's wait for that 9 sequential and see what happens. 12-hour chart, very similar to the daily chart on a 6 of 9 sequential. If the uptrend continues here, we can have a high on a 12-hour chart in about 2 days, right? So approximately at the same time. So your 12-hour chart is actually in line with the daily chart. They can both hit 9s together. I'm at 600 viewers, guys. That's pretty cool. Stream just started. I guess it's good timing. 9 a.m. in New York. Most of the world is still awake. Not having a very good 4-hour period right now. We're on a price flip. We had a 9. We had a, yeah, see, this is interesting, right? We had a 9 top. We then had a big bullish candle, but then the 2 did not go above a 1. The 3 did not go above a 2, and the 4 did not go above a 3. The high of the 3 candle is 41.28, and this is 40.63. So the sequential did not activate a bullish trade. Well, it kind of did on our current candle on a 5 above a 4, and I almost never trade 5s above 4s. I consider that way too late, unless you're adding to a winning position. So if you did do that trade, you may want to take that stop loss because this is not looking very good on a 4-hour chart. The 1-hour chart gave you a nice shooting star candle 2 hours ago, hour and a half, hour and 15, something like that. And pulling back to the moving average doesn't mean anything really. The daily and the 12-hour remain bullish. We're pulling back to the prior area of support. I do like it here. I'm still thinking 4,200 breakout, but until 4,200 breaks, there may not be a trade there. Maybe a little too late to chase the bullish trade here. It's a safer trade to chase it at 4,200. A lot of noob traders don't understand what this means, but that's what I just said. The the bulls are starting to leverage up a little bit here. The ratio between the bulls and the bears is rising in favor of the bulls. And that usually doesn't mean good things for the bulls, could mean good things in the short term, but in the medium term, not so much. GBTC pulled back a little bit, mostly because of the premium. I'm hoping that this thing pops to above 5.2, and I will be looking to exit some of my swing GBTC trade, which at this point is now borderlining on a position trade, but it's okay. It's in a retirement account. That was kind of the plan. So I got that chart in TradingView. This is a minor profitability chart. It's on Quandl, and you can find it there is a ticker here. It sucks that it doesn't display the full ticker, right? So those that are interested, oh, sorry, I had to read a couple of messages. Those that are interested, hold on, let me get the actual ticker here for you guys. Here's the ticker. The Quandl ticker for miner revenue. Here it is. So you pop this in here. Okay, that's the ticker. Okay, but you have to set it to a line chart. There it is. Okay, you have to set it to a line chart. You can't have it on candlesticks. It doesn't work. It has to be a line chart. Okay, now I can't use a 1-day chart because it doesn't fit into a screen. So 2 days as granular and as I can get it. And I will overlay this with the price of Bitcoin chart, or but the point of this chart, and this is where my screen share failed me yesterday, is that right here, we already touched this line from prior swing high. Actually, if I raise it up a little, you can see that we've broken below it. Now, I can do another one of these from this swing high, and you can see on a 2-day chart, we actually went lower. Pull that back here, right? So when I put it on a 2-day chart, you can see that we broke below that line somewhat significantly, right? So here's the thing, if you change this to a 3-day chart, this stuff is not as simple as you guys think. If I change it to a 3-day chart, interesting. Right, see, when you start zooming in on just this chart, you can see how we swung lower than this chart somewhat significantly in the past. So just touching it may not be enough. May have to swing a little bit lower. So while, you know, looking at other people's, I have to find the actual number, right? Like this is actually doable. You can find the actual value and you can set this line to that value. I'll probably do that in the near future. So this is now me looking at the 3-day version of this chart. If I go back to the 2-day version, which should be more granular. All right. Right. So interesting. The 2-day version, this peak here on a 2-day version is lower than on a 3-day version. So what you really want, this is analysis, guys. This is how you gotta, even with technical analysis. I got a couple of questions here. Hold on. With the Fed issuing negative interest rates and the crypto bear market? Not really, but it'll help. Do you have time to tell everybody about the voting failure of Ethereum and why it is so obvious? Guys, if I would have absolutely no life if I spend my entire podcast talking about the failures of Ethereum. Ethereum is trash. Stop paying attention to it. We are live dumping Bitcoin. Check out the 1 hour and 15-minute chart. We can go back to the 1 hour chart. It's dropping. I'm still bullish-ish. The daily is still bullish to me. The weekly is still bullish to me. It's not that big of a drop where we fell $60. Not the end of the world yet. No big deal yet. Okay, let's get back to this, right? So what you really want to do is you want to get that peak value, that peak daily value. Like I'm not sure how, like the 3-day value seems to be lower or higher than the 2-day value. I already messed them up, but so you can see how on a 2-day chart, which should show you more granularity, this thing is pretty high and we went below it quite a bit. Now you also need to keep in mind, I really hate this thing. I wish this wasn't there. Like it's really annoying. So here's the thing, right? You can see the halvings. So this was a halving right here. And this was a halving right here. That's what causes these big drops. But before this halving, right? Yeah, we can also draw one of these lines. Well, I'll do more with this chart in the future. Again, if you put it right at the peak, we dumped a little bit below it, right? You want these to be thick lines. Here we touched it a couple of times. The interesting part is, of course, here. Man. Interesting part is, of course, right here. Because between, and now I can zoom in on this, so it's awesome. So between the peak in February of 2011, and this is miner revenue, this is the number of Bitcoins mined that day times by the price of the Bitcoin that was mined. You can see how we perfectly touched it, but there was no halving. And I know for a fact the price of Bitcoin in November of 2011 was higher than the price of Bitcoin in February of 2011. So the only way this thing can pull back to this line is if the number of Bitcoins mined in November of 2011 was significantly lower than the number of Bitcoins mined in February of 2011. This chart alone tells me that mining Bitcoin was a lot easier in the early days and more Bitcoin was mined. So the block, the increase in difficulty took a while to adjust. So this is interesting to me. To me, this is very interesting. Now we're gonna take this line and we're gonna copy it one more time. Same thing right here. What this chart tells me is that way more Bitcoin was being mined on average. So the blocks were appearing way faster than every 10 minutes in November of 2010 than they were in March of 2011, because the price of Bitcoin in March of 2011 was higher than in November of 2010, even though there was a price pump in November, December of 2010 because of WikiLeaks, when Amir Taki said, hey, WikiLeaks should accept Bitcoin. Now, when did WikiLeaks actually accept Bitcoin? WikiLeaks started accepting Bitcoin in June of 2011, right around the time of the peak. Now, when the news of WikiLeaks broke, that its rumor drove the price up, that WikiLeaks may accept Bitcoin donations, even though they didn't do it for another 8 months. Silk Road didn't launch until February of 2011. Don't ask me how I know all these dates. This is, again, looked at Bitcoin enough, that's what happens. And even right here, we can even go back one. Let me stretch this out and boom. Whatever peak this is another example of Bitcoin pulling back to miner profitability, right? So this is a really neat chart. I really like this chart prior to the first halving of 2013. And you can see that, again, because this shows you that Bitcoin was being mined so quickly that even though the price of Bitcoin went up, there was less coins being mined, so that this thing still pulled back perfectly. So this was the chart I didn't show you guys because I forgot to do screen share yesterday. And you can now do it yourself. You can make it fancy. If I have time, I'll make it fancy, but this is kind of what I'm looking at, right? What you really want to do is you want to determine what that actual number, dollar value was. And then you want to go into this line and put in that exact parameter. And ideally what you want to do is you want to put in that exact parameter, but you also want to make it, nice and thick. Oh, it's already nice and thick. Perfect. Okay, that's it. That's it on this. Gold. Gold popped. Interesting. A little unexpected on my end. I still think gold's going to pull back. I am very skeptical that gold's going to break the swing high this year of February. But you know what? If the Fed is going to do negative rates, there's enough speculators that are going to buy into gold and silver. So who really knows? From a technical perspective, from a TA perspective, I would not be long gold and I would not be short gold either. I would wait for a green price flip, then a red price flip, and then I would short a red 2 below a red 1. Nice to see a 9 show up on a daily. Now, this is interesting here. This is the S&P 500. I got about 3 or 4 minutes because I think Hyperwave is going to do a YouTube show. So I am going to let you guys go so I can hand it off to Leah and Hyperwave. I'm probably going to go get food. I'm so behind on Hyperwave, but please check out their channel. I think they're going live any minute. Maybe they might delay because of me, but I'd rather end the video and hand it off to them. This is a very nice bounce right off of this, right? So unfortunately, the reversal candle came on a 7, not a 9, made it a little tricky. I was hoping this would pop into 2,800 before the pullback to this line. We are now bounced off of this. This makes me bullish. The weekly chart remains bullish. We are at 28.35 right now. Today's Thursday. The NCAA tournament starts. I I have a team in the race, but I'm not going to take FSU into the Final Four. I'm not that crazy, but I do have them beating Gonzaga, though. We can talk about the NCAA tournament. I have not paid attention. I have not watched a single game. I have not watched a single highlight of a single college basketball game, but I have a friend with a pool, and I've been doing this pool for 20 years, and I'm not going to stop now. So I'm in the pool. I have North Carolina beating Michigan, and I have Michigan State beating Duke to beat in the Final Four, and I have Virginia beating someone to get into the Final Four as well. I think Virginia losing in the first round last year will make sure they're properly motivated to make the Final Four this year. Okay. Enough NCAA talk. So I like this bounce on a 9 candle. And if we have strength tomorrow, which is Friday, it would be another one of those rare occasions where I'm comfortable holding long into the weekend with a 9 involved. That almost never happens, and it's about to happen 2 weekends in a row, which is absolutely amazing. All right, this is all I have to say. I don't know stochastic RSI. It's not a specialty of mine. Duke is the best team, but picking Duke to win the whole thing is not really going to win you the NCAA bracket because everyone else is going to do it. So, Ethereum chart. I guess I haven't looked at Ethereum in ages. Real quick, I got 3 more minutes. I guess I'm wasting it on Ethereum. Thank you. Live chat. Let's get Ethereum in here. Yeah, see, Bitcoin already bounced back, right? So like I said, I wasn't crazy scared here. I'm not scared yet. Let's see, what's the latest Ethereum chart? Last time I looked at Ethereum was the 10th of March. And that's the Ethereum US dollar chart. Ethereum isn't moving, like it's not interesting. It's still unreasonably correlated with Bitcoin, and that needs to end. So nothing interesting in Ethereum. It's on a 7 of 9, same as Bitcoin, flat, same as Bitcoin, but it's not approaching its prior high. It's not as close to its swing high as Bitcoin is. So Ethereum is slacking against Bitcoin. Keep that in mind. I'm also not big on Wyckoff. Wyckoff is just too broad of a pattern, so I don't really care for Wyckoff. Yeah, Mt. Gox is going to pay back customers denominated at $400 of Bitcoin. Have I checked Litecoin? No, I'm not going to check Litecoin. All right, guys. On this note, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to stop screen share. Please check out Malta, Understanding Bitcoin. Take a look at my schedule. I am off to Egypt from here on Monday after speaking at Blockchain Days here in Mallorca. We're closing out with 800 people. If any of you are in Cairo or somewhere else in Egypt, hit me up on Twitter, and maybe we can meet up because I have a week in Egypt. I want to check out the pyramids. I don't know if I have any fans there or anything like that, so I'm definitely happy to grab a drink. So do that. Please don't message me all at once as to why you can't make it to Egypt. Try to only message if you are in Egypt. It's the same thing. I'm like, hey, is anyone around? And then I get like 20 messages saying why they're not around, which is really not very helpful. But thank you. Thank you for the consideration and thinking about it. All right, guys. I will talk to you all on the next one. I do want to address one quick question where someone says, well, Tone, if you don't go out and you don't party so much, you'd have more time for stuff. I don't party that much. Hong Kong was a major exception. But the one difference between me and many other people is that I socialize with people that watch my channel. So that's what separates me from a lot of others, my travel and my accessibility. Now, this doesn't mean I will look at your white paper. This doesn't mean I'm going to promote your business. But it does mean that probably more than anyone else on YouTube, I am somewhat easy to take out to dinner or take out to lunch because I do like socializing with people that watch my channel, hence all of the workshops every freaking weekend. All right, guys. So I can't get to everyone, but I do my best. All right, it's time. Speaking of which, it's time to go meet a few people for lunch, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Bye from unreasonably cold Mallorca. Bye, guys.